I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is March 5th, Thursday, 2026. Hope you had a good day today. Well, I didn't even pull it up. So yesterday, obviously, I talked about pushing back down to here and then pushing back up, or just really sinking down, right? And we actually got a little bit of both, which is funny. We're still in this range, and um, let's see, did you see the 25%? Oh shit! You see the 25% of this range right here, this bottom quadrant. Look to the right. Where did we bounce from today? See that? See that? See that? Beautiful. Right back up into this mean reversion play from the high to the low. And also from the high when we made yesterday, we rated the previous day's high, which is obviously yesterday. We rated the high first. Not like we came back down and then did the structure for a retracement. Then we would expect a shallow push up, a shallow retracement to then push up, right? Because you think it's maybe consolidating here. But in reality, this was a deeper retracement back into here. And then from here, we'll have new ideas and conversation. But in this case, you can see we're coming right back to the center of our current week's gap, right? So that's why I have it sitting there, very high probability area. Plus, we just, bought from yesterday and broke out from it. And then give me what else can I show you on the before I get rid of it? And also this first imbalance from yesterday, guys. Come on. I mean, like I pointed out yesterday. Notice how we came in there twice. Notice we sold from it. We almost ticked for today's session there, and then sold off in here. We were on the overbought already. I was mentioning that, so coming back down would make sense in some form or fashion. But again, remember the key factor of today is the week, I should say, is because of this body. Look at the body of the week. I told you, I've been talking about it now every day, that since we don't have a weekly, we won't be able to, since it gapped down, it won't have a weekly body if it sells down. So they're going to keep that price up. I've been talking about that, and we initially discussed it on Monday and Tuesday. We called the next day being bearish, and then anyways, let me not sidetrack. But the point was that constantly trying to keep this price up right here, and this is what they're doing as we're speaking. That daily, what's it called? Is it to the tick even? God damn, almost. But coming right back to that 25, almost reaching that 50 of this range. I'm still only talking about this range right now. So we're kind of in there, and you can see we've got it blocked here. Once we broke out from this swing high right here, and we broke through, we speakered here, we broke through it, coming right back, obviously, excuse me, and into this old weak gap right there. If you're wondering where is that from, it is from here, Sunday the 15th February. All right, so what was I going to say? Now that I've framed all that, right? Let's go into it. So I also have a projection, and how beautiful this was. So before I get into it, yesterday we get the drives up here, and then we get a final raid, right? So that's the higher high in this external range. So from that swing high on the 4-hour top left here, see this? So from this swing high and this range swing low, we bust out of it. That is a external range. Now the price action will come back into internal range of, from that swing low to that swing high as well, right? So that's a logical framework of eating the buyers that we're buying from here. We have an inefficiency from yesterday's opening range gap. You're going to see how this all ties into it beautifully, right? So, generally speaking, it could just have been a consolidation. Yeah. And this was an absolutely difficult day, but there were trades and you could have took profit and it would have been just fine. Holding it in any direction would have been very tough, except for the obviously sells from here, right? What's it called? So that first imbalance. Remember, I told you about that. That was from right here, which was February 25th. Remember that? So you see that there with a projection. You can see that once we made this low and this high. See, it's a speaker right there, but this is its own range. So notice we break through it this way. So you get the drives. 1, 2, 3, 4. Low, lower, high, right? And then it comes all the way back. This is a speaker day, but not a traditional one, because we would have stayed in this range all day. And this is a general manipulation the day before an NFP. So that's why today you are already with the mindset of and knowing that you're going to trade accordingly, which means you're taking trades and you're taking profit. You're not, you don't even need to even look for external liquidity, but you're just gonna play the trading day as such, meaning that high resistance movement is going to be taking people out back and forth, right? Coming back into ranges and this and that, which is what you're seeing even at the end of the day today. So, but to keep it simple, the structure, which I do like drawing here, you'll see that from here we made the high. This is a low internal high, another lower low, and this goes above, which is a higher high. But this is rare price action also, and I'm going to mention that right now. It is very rare price action, but they'll keep this as a resistance, and they'll just pretty much basically test this level area again once we rated that, and then now the retracement does begin. You get a lower low, and then this lower high, and then finally breaks down. Okay, and now we pulled back up. So with that visual, and you're like, dude, I can see that. Well, the thing is that that's how it's going to look like if it's going to be this type of shakeout day, a day before NFP, and it retraces, right? Because the logic of coming lower was just to eat the buyers. But like, even if you took this buy here, you're just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a great buy. I bought this actually. So I'll get into the video in a second, but you'll see that I'm just highlighting the bodies here. See how I'm on the 15-minute, I'm just highlighting the bodies only, and it came to perfection. Tags a -1 there. Tags a -1.5 there. Pulls back up. Continues back down. Look at the -2. Can you see this? I'm sorry. I'm not sure if you can. The -2 is right there, right? You see that, right? Make this video short, buddy. I gotta make it short. It doesn't really help too much, right? But it's right above that first imbalance from yesterday. Watch how that shit plays today, dude. You cannot make that shit up. Serious. Watch how serious this is. Trust me, it's not buyers and sellers doing this shit. So, the -2's right there. So now I'm gonna get on the first. I'm gonna get on the 1 minute. Sorry, chart here. So, understanding that the pre 9:30, right before 9:30, it takes out. Let me squinch it. Takes out this low right here. All right, turtle soup right here. Okay, takes that low out, and it has this imbalance. Right, becoming an inversion. All right, so it's either going to roll right through, okay, or it's not. And if it's not, how does that look like? Looks just like this. So we've took out liquidity to the left. And, people are easy money selling right here. All right, where are the equal highs here? We have equal highs right here. And then we have these highs right here. Even though it's not equal, this was sold from the daily open. Okay. And these swing right there. Notice how we're still tagging that first imbalance from all the way. You think that cannot be by accident? No way. No way. Look at it. Look at it. Look how the bodies are stopping right there. That can't be fucking random. Then the bodies on the 15-minute are underneath the 50%. Look on the 15-minute. Look on the 1 minute how we end up taking off from right there. Look at that. It's algorithmic. Matter of fact, you should just pause and just stare at my chart for a little bit. All right, because I'm pretty sure you guys don't have my chart. All right, no one has my chart because it's my chart. Unless you are, you know, copying it and which you should be if you want to learn from me in this understanding of algorithmic delivery, you know, that you have it on your own chart. But anyways, now that I've said all that, two gaps here and then here, let's get into the 1 minute now. I have to say all that just to say this. So also we had room on the overbought for the 4 hour, by the way, explaining yesterday. I'm not sure if I brought that up, but anyways, let's get into the video. So here you can see that we immediately look right here. Look at 928.29. You can see we are bouncing right from there. So we end up using it as an inversion. Bodies hold. Boom, 930 shoots off right from it. It's the same level as the open, right? You know, I don't need to bring this up, do I? Maybe that's better. All right, so boom, pushes off. Tried to get filled. Now I could have bought here, but I did not because 930. It's not worth it. I just rather let 930 show me a direction, and then the motherfucker took off, right? And then on a 15-second you can see it, but you can't see it on the 1 minute. I was looking for a retrace right back in to buy, and then they I was literally, it was split second, and I was like, you motherfucker, and I missed it. I ended up getting the next higher low, which I'll show you now. This is fire, just so you know. On the 15-minute, just so you know. Look at that bitch, boy. You can't make this shit up. Look at that bitch. So look at this. Shot up. The next 15-second, which is 9:30 and 15 seconds. The next 15-second in that 1 minute candle. It opened up, so it tagged at 25% and then shot right back to the original breakout right there of the 930, right? Didn't hit the 930, but just a hair higher. See that? And I tried to fucking push it here. And like by the time my reaction and by the time I looked away from another screen, this bitch was right here. I was like, you motherfucker. You cannot make this up. Boom. Immediate rebalance that is exceedingly bullish for the near term. I don't mean for days. I don't mean for hours. I'm just saying for the near term, that shows you that is extremely strong. Where would you take it? Well, you have the opening range gap. Now I'm getting into the conversation. You have the opening range gap. You're opening up in a discount. It's a discount opening range gap. Is the price in discount compared to the original range that you're in? No, it's not. So, but can you buy that? Yes, with the intention of either squeezing out to make a new high, or if it doesn't want to and it fails, then it fails. But you don't even have to wait till you get it too high. You can get it to the 50%. You can get it to the 75%. I got out here and 75% with the midnight level here. There's a midnight level in the background right here. In the green blue right there. See that? So that, and now go back to the equal highs. I'm going to go back to the 1 minute. Before I do, I'm going to just show you the last entry. How I got in is right here. This right here. So I missed that retrace. I missed that pullback. Pushes up, and then you got a little imbalance here. I didn't draw it. I don't have to draw it, right? Me and you are on the same page. That little imbalance right there. See that? This is a 15-second chart. And then, boom, we tagged the 25% and this down candle. Notice how I don't have to have it on the open. I can get in as soon as I push. As soon as it tags, it's 25%. This is how I'm pushing buy. Right there. Boom. Little drawdown right there. Not much at all. Holds a support. Takes off. Beautiful. What am I doing? I'm going past the 50 and to this level right here. All right. Because now I'm going to go back to the 1 minute. Now that you saw that. I have these equal highs here. That's a breakout area. So liquidity, imbalance, breakout area, trifecta. And here. Same story here. You have equal highs here. These guys by the midnight level. Matter of fact, it's sold here from that midnight level understanding. By the way, at 7 something. Okay, and 7 o'clock has where is it? 7 o'clock's here. 7 o'clock has already rated this high, so that was the move coming down. This is an easy push up for low resistance liquidity run. Okay, so with that logic, this is where I get squeezed out right here. but I end up getting filled right here. See that? So notice that all that time I bought the next candle on the 1 minute's wick, the 931, it retraced and pushed up. I actually caught that wick is what I'm doing. And this is empty here. It's not the first imbalance. This would be the first imbalance for today. It's going to be the 933. Then we're back and forth, back and forth. Then you can get involved again. I'll show you where that happens. So here, in this case, it could be a consolidation. We do have a rate and then we push up. We do expect price to keep going up like we discussed about coming up into these equal highs here. The issue, now I'm going to say this clear, and it'll make sense for you, and you're like, dude, come on. You're like, I'm about to quit this. Fuck this. And listen, if you're about to quit, don't quit. Number one. Number two, if you are about to quit and it's just not for you, then it isn't for you. And I didn't mean to even bring that up right now because it could be a very long conversation. But the only way you're going to survive is that when you take these fucking shots of what you expect to happen, you only get 2. You don't get 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't keep trading until, and this is what you're most likely doing if you are struggling still or struggling, right? So the only winners in this game is they're going to take these trades, and they don't have to even hit home runs. It could just be base hits. But when they take that trade and it, you take one loss, you only get a second one, and then you stop. You push back, and then you wait for another setup. I promise you, you will be green if you do that, right? But you have to do that. Anyways, price pushed up, all right? Came back to this breakout right here, pretty obvious. And then what is it going to do, though, from here? Okay, so what does it do? It shoots up, okay? Pushes up, makes a new high. Oh, perfect. What are you doing? When it makes a new high, what are you doing? You wait for a pullback. Where's the pullback? Right here. See the pullback? So it pushes up. Nice and bullish. I'm not even highlighting that. I'm using just the first imbalance. I want it to push back in. Boom. Look how it hits the 50. Look at this gap right here in the background. We don't have to get into it too much. All consecutive down candles. If I drew, I like to draw it after the fact, after the fact for you, so you can like see it and then learn, right? Consecutive candles, no bodies. You have imbalance plus the order block, demand blocks. These consecutive candles. That's a change in delivery. It closes above, and then you have time, which the macro kicks in, which is 950. This is a perfect trade right here. This I would take every single day for the rest of my life, which is you have the pullback into the price of where you want it to buy from, and then the time kicks in when it's going to buy from it and then make a new high. Then you get a couple drives up where into that liquidity that we before I even get to the liquidity, you do know that's why I don't have a green I don't have it highlighted green here, because it's already green and I expect it to come up here. So we want to seal the opening range gap is what I am saying. So remember, decisions are made above and below the red level, which is the opening gap of today. That's the opening of today. So you can see that this is resistance. Can't you tell that that's resistance? If the price ended up down here, you can tell that's resistance, right? Algorithmic resistance. So even if you're a good trader and you use the opening gaps, okay, which most traders do not, but the smart ones do. And if they do, they're even coming to attack them. That's just a side note. But the point is that you can see that we're, but guess what happens? Shoots up nicely and it fails. A little too good to be true, right? That it's just going to keep pushing right up. It would have been real too fucking easy. Now we got all these buyers right here, right? So look at this channel here. I wish there was a way I could draw a channel. I don't draw channels and I don't teach channels, but it's really nice to understand it in the logic of I'm not even gonna do that. Well, I'll do the eclipse. Fuck it. All right. So you see the channel here, right? So we're popping up higher highs and higher lows. Notice how the price pops out of the channel. Retraces back here. You're like, oh, no problem. But then it breaks here. You should never get that if you're selling. It should keep going. It should be, So now the channel comes into it turns into this. However it looks like. See that? Straight shot down. Right? I want to be a part of these channels. I want to be a part of these easy runs, okay, on price. That's what I want to be involved in, okay? So where can you be involved? I'm showing you that with the buy here, okay? Okay, I'm not bearish here, right? And it ends up coming back down, okay? So we come back to underneath 50%. Look at the body sitting at 50% of this old first imbalance, sitting right there. See that? See that? You can see it. Last up candles here. Aggressively sells off, stays empty. This is showing you that it's already it's a change program. We've got these consecutive candles here, and we have a closure right here. We also shouldn't have price close underneath those consecutive candles. Should have retraced in here and then still bought back up, right? So that's another sign. 2, 3. What did I say? Oh, this is what I was going to say earlier. The type of fucking day it is. Not just because I said it was tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow's NFP and all that, which is a big reason. But the reason why it would come even lower is because of the environment that we are in, considered to the whole 100 years, the past 100 fucking years. Today happens to be a current day in a live WAR, right? Period. So I am incorporating that understanding with today. Okay? So when we say high manipulation, we understand that coming back lower, this is also an inefficiency, and not to be a conspiracy theorist, but this is also an inefficient price action when we just on the top 25%. Remember, I had this quadded. So watch what we do. We sell off. I have the first imbalance here, and I have this imbalance here, that 930. And then sure enough, we sell right back to the high of the week gap. Remember, we pushed right through it. I said it in yesterday's video that we should probably come back in this area to clear those easy buyers, because this is a breakout area, right? So there it is, came right back to it. And look how we tagged the first imbalance of yesterday to the tick. That can't, so you really think this is random? And you really think this is random? That's perfect. Come right to it. All right, got the circle here. Where? Because breakout area, and then this 2 to 2.5. That -2 that's on the projection. Remember, if we're coming lower, I mean, expect to go into these areas. So how did that look like? Well, if this failed and came lower, then the negative, obviously the previous low of 930, obviously. But then where? This -2 and the first imbalance of yesterday. We bounce from it. We come where? We come where? Right to the first imbalance of today. Come on, man. Look at the body stopping. Out of all the tools I could have used or picked, look how it stopped right there. Come on. So wicks outside of it, body stays in. Wicks outside of it, body stays in. Now it's leaving the 50% level and lower, and no bodies. Finally came back down, right? Got a short-term high on the left, short-term high on the right, and then that's the higher high. So right there is your swing, and your signal to now make a sell here, right? To where? Coming here. But look what they did. Dirty. Fucking dirty. Swear on my mother, dirty. Comes to this low. When it gets to this low, it's either going to buy from here. We're talking probabilities. We're not talking about the whole day. But in general speaking, it's either going to buy from up above here, or it's going to go below it. That's it. Guess what? It never went below it. So it squeezed all the way back up to where? What do I have here in this circle? This is liquidity, because this was, now they thought, oh, it was a shift of structure this way. If it's buying, it should not come back down. And that is also true. If it's buying, we shouldn't have made a new low. All right, because now we got order flow with a structure coming down. Okay. All right, comes back up, mean reversion, back to a lower high. Okay. makes this low. So in reality, this whole time, this was the high, this was the low, and we made two drives up. One, retrace, two retraces back up. Silly. You're like, dude, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. You want to know why? Because this is fucking manipulation. But the speaker, when we talk about the speaker that we're forming here, it's either going to go back on the top side of it, retrace to the center, and then buy back up, which was just like this day here, February 24th. I think so. Yeah. Yep. And then, but in this case, it's coming below it and then coming back up to, it's fucking with the center. And then it's making a new low to come back. All right. To make this more simple, to keep this real simple, it's attacking that high here. And then a little bit higher from where? Oh, the breakout guy right there. See that? Because we already knew you shouldn't be selling here. But when it popped up in here, they just put this internal induced high. They couldn't make it obvious and perfect to stop here and then pull back. So they made a new high. So they shook out is basically the point. But these are great. These two are great buys right here. This is a great sell. And if you didn't catch this sell from here, my next best sell is right here, which is what I caught right here. This sell right here. So when the price came down here, all right, I was bullish at this point, but when the price came down, you got to take profit. When the price came down here, came underneath, it shouldn't be down here. So what we're doing is now we understand that, okay, if it's not going to be bouncing from here, then we're going to come back into this whole piece of liquidity, which is the pre-930, the push up of momentum, and then that swing back. Okay. So what do we do? Right when you can see the candles, I mean, they're melting. So the only way you can get in here is if you push sell as soon as it closes or opens. Okay. Guess what keeps happening? Oh, slithering, a breakaway imbalance, just like that one right there, right? You know it's coming for this low. I know it's coming for this low, right? That's a fact. Where could I have found my piece of the pie here, which is right here? Oh, anywhere here, really, if you were with that, in here, okay? But I took it here, and I normally don't do this, but this was more of a logic of understanding that I know it's a shakeout day. I know it's a high resistance day if it's coming back already. We should have made a new high, okay? If that's not gonna happen, then I know the probability is the other way. Okay, now that we said that, and you really need to be able to do that in your trading. If you are married, lockstep, deer in the headlights, or just a blinder on with just a microscope, whatever you want to, what are those called? Fucking binoculars. You got binoculars on your fucking eyes, and you're just literally looking up, right? So, in flexibility, you'll see that it shoots down here, right? Closes strong, then it fans. See, it has control price. See how it's fanning that way down? Oh shit! See how it's fanning this way, and then as soon as we get to this, we're knocking on this 25%. I'm already hitting sell here. Wow. Well, we tagged underneath this, but I needed to make sure. So then it broke through. I said, okay, cool. So now that you made these little swing highs, I'm cool with it. I want to take it and put my stop loss around 50% of this imbalance or the high of it. Generally, I'll just snug it real tight because I don't want to be in the trade if it goes any higher. But what is it doing? Comes right up here, pushes down to the first imbalance. This is the proper entry for me, but I was just using this here, this quadrant. But it pushes down here, and then you see this candle, this little one bullish candle, this 1029, it pops up and it closes. I'm like, perfect. What it just did is it made me, I'm going to use this as an inversion, this bullish that highlighted. I want to use that in inversion to come down into underneath this low, tag the top of the current week's gap, all right, and then get into here. No joke. Now, it would have been great if it hit the 25%, but it did not. So, boom, this next candle just shoots straight down. So this was a swing, this little push back up, this little candle, it's a retracement. It's a little miniature retracement, just like these little fucking funky candles right here. Same idea, bro. Boom, straight down. This is a sell model. So you have your consolidation here. You have an accumulation here, 1. You could say accumulation 2 right here, and then even a third to push up, right? And then on this side, you have the low risk sell here, accumulation 1 here, and you can even call this an accumulation here. And then this last one, the last one is always the fastest and strongest. Shoots down. That's why when this pushed up, it was the fastest and pushed up. But I'm sorry, really accumulation 1 here. Did I just say that? Yeah. I don't know if I said 2. I should have said 1. But point is that right to the liquidity, and then it's that -2. Now we're inside. What did it do? Bounced up, and as we discussed here. Okay, you took it's still a great buy to take this to here, but I mean, you have a risk of it stopping. Guess what? It did. It came back. And if you took this buy again, which was very difficult to do, if you did, okay, cool. Came up, you got to take the profit. All right, you got to take profit. Otherwise, you sell from the top 25%, right, of that opening range gap. And also the gap that's in the old week up there. And then, hold on. You'll see once we have these sharp, see, slithering, sharp, right? Should have broke away. Should have never came down and closed below this bullish candle like that. Should have never done that. All right, so we were just selling right back off. Look at the first imbalance 15-minute holding that price right there. And we just raid this real quick. Just manipulation, but expected on this type of day. Then you get the strong candles. Like, price shouldn't be here if it's buying. It shouldn't be doing that. It ain't no shift. That it's probably gonna come lower into where this fucking 3.5 to 4 area plus that upper quadrant of the opening range gap. The 50%. Take a look at this. 50% of yesterday's opening range gap is literally nested with that -3.5. So any sells here is where this is where my target is. What's right there? What am I pointing at also? Dude, it is a gap. An old weak gap that's sitting right inside this. That's why I still have it there. It's sitting in the background. Look how we bottom ticked the low of the day there. You can't make that up. So anyways, we came up, and if this selling off, okay, we have some order flow coming down. Look at the 15-minute here. There is no body sitting here. Okay, there's no body sitting there. With that being such a huge pin bar on the 15-minute, rolling over makes perfect sense. So how does that look like? Looks just like this. Lower low, so pullback here. Breaks through, breakaway imbalance, pushes back. 930. We're testing the 930 level. Up, down, sells off from right there. Beautifully. Breaks down lower quickly to hunt for this right here. And where does it do? Right there, dude. Oh, well, before I finish, you'll see that we are tapping right underneath that right there. See that? Bottom quadrant. See that? So fuzzy price at first, then it opens up and it ends up going somewhere, ends up moving. Didn't have to. Could have stayed like this all day. And then it would just been a transition day. Sure enough, they came lower. Drive 1, drive 2. This 2 drives had 2 drives. Made a lower high. Comes right back to the 25%. So I'm circling here. So comes to it. Okay, comes underneath the first imbalance of today. Do you see that? Remember, we top ticked it today here. Okay, and then we underneath it ticked it. Look at that. You see that? Okay, cool. Can't make that up. Can't make that up. Ready? You ready for this? Tags it. That's a controller price. This up candle initially. So is this area here, but whatever. Shoots down. Ticks the top of that gap. It's nested around the 50%, but whatever. Pulls to the 25%, comes back to the 50, plays around, ticks it to the bottom here, and then equal lows, 30, equal lows, run away from it, and sitting right there on that gap. Body's at 50%, bounces around a little bit here, starting to push up here. You see it, gone, right? Takes off, now you have a shift of structure here. So let's just do it from here. I'll draw it. Lower, 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 high. This is all the same price action. That's all the same price action. All this in between is bullshit. Low, lower, high. It's a higher low. Oh shit, we shifted right there. So this wasn't just taking this liquidity when it came up here to fall back down all the way. It made a deep retracement. Now you have your order. Look at the order flow. Watch the order flow now. You're like, dude, I can see that, man. Okay. If you can, great. You see that? If you're new, you see that? You see that, right? So I understand these things, right? So if you want to take a buy, you want to wait for that shift of structure. All right, so because it's selling, sell 1, sell 2, sell 3, sell 4. Oh shit, sold again, but it took me out for that's a warning sign, changing direction. They want to come back up here. They have to somehow come back up here to wipe out all this easy selling, because we knew that it was selling from here. We knew that. Coming back down. Okay, up, down, up. Oh, come on, man. Up, up, up. Oh, damn. No, we're selling. You know it's selling. Once you get into this area right here, you know it's selling, right? That's why they came back up here. All right, so now that I've beat a dead horse here, and then you can see us ticking, buying again right from yesterday's first imbalance right there. Can you see that? You can. Someone might say, "Oh man, if you just drag that and put it anywhere, you'll find a reason for it to." No, dude, that's not this, bro. That's not what this is. So, boom, bounces right on top of the weekly gap. Boom, playing around here. All right. Oh my keyboard is dying. Hot second here. Starting to die a lot, actually. All right, where am I? Oh my god. 37 minutes. Fuck. And then with the VIX here, you can see, I'm not even going to go through this, but those great trades, when we bought immediately at 9:30, that was pushing it down here. And then we didn't make the new all-time high, or not all-time high. We didn't make that new high, and then it reversed. Ever since the whole rest of the day, that was this. So it constantly started pushing up while we started pushing down, selling. And that last push up that we just got, that was this little sell-off from VIX here. Right? And then we were pushing up. So, you go do the research. I can't do it. I can't. But there are some beautiful trades today based off of that usage. And then, I don't know, dollar just kind of fucking lingering around here. And we had higher highs here with NAS, and then lower highs here. Very clear that we had that. That was the understanding of this sell. So you have to be able to see these things too, right? And then, anyways, had a lower low here, higher low. We pushed up, and then it started playing around here. You had another higher low here, and then lower lows here. It's explaining this stupid push back up. But once we push back up, I don't think, yeah, obviously I didn't mark it, but this was a higher high here. Okay, and then this was lower, yeah. So lower lows right there, and it shot it right back down again. And then you're gonna see, you can obviously see it on your own, right? Where is it? On the bottom here. You know it's the higher low right here, right? Okay, we got to change there, and coming right back to kind of like the meter version, sort of speak in this conversation. And then you'll see that we have another low in Dow. That's why I was telling y'all about Dow looked a lot more bearish. And then you'll see here, if you look at the top, we don't even get up here. So it's immediately selling off in the bottom quadrant here. And And what was the week? Oh, so they don't care about not leaving a body. We'll see what they end up doing, but Dow will do that type of shit. Yeah, it's not more likely to happen on NAS or S&P, generally speaking. But you can see the order flow. I've been saying it since the call I called the top here. If you recall, I talked about this price action. Go watch this video. What was it? I think it was the 11th. It was the 10th, 11th. I think it was 11th or the 12th. I can't remember. I think it was the 11th though. Anyways, lower low, lower high there. You see the structure. This is what I wanted to see. This is what I wanted to see with Nas, to keep it real simple, to be honest with you. But everybody trades Nas, so sometimes that's a good time when you can trade another asset like this. In this case, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, anyways, and then S&P coming real deep here. They're also not having a body here. We'll see what we end up doing. But now they're closing here, closing lower. We're barcoding. Again, this is why this is very difficult. But notice how you can maneuver in the most difficult market ever right now, as far as indices goes. Because I haven't seen it. We usually would have broke out of a range by now. But even even if you have patience and you allow setups and allow the trades to and the movement to move, you will start to see things that, instead of chasing price, you'll see possibilities. Even if you didn't have no bias or you didn't know which way it was going, you just let them show their hand. That's our goal here. You can see with S&P, we pushed up here, almost sealed it, fell short. They'll do that bullshit too. Much cleaner price action with S&P and Dow. So the structure is working here in the sense where, we had this low, we came up, they failed to make that high here. So that was S&P didn't take out their previous day high. I'm sorry, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. They took out the high. They were underneath this high. And look at the no bodies over here with the 1 hour, showing you weakness in this. We'll call it, even dare me call it, a zone of price between here. Notice that's weak there, right? The bodies are actually telling you the story. But lower low, lower high here, which is beautiful. Right there, right there, and right there, and then you get the drives. Shift. Can't you see it? Can't you see it? Can't you see it? Wait. Oh, see that fucking boner candle? That 304. That's that shit I'm talking about. See that? See, you see it right here. Well, right to. I didn't even know what time it was, but I knew exactly which one it was, because you can see. Yeah, that was a shift here, and that was a shift there. But this strong ass fucking candle with a pullback, that's a buy. That's a beautiful buy. Buy this where? Right back to 930. That's what I did also, by the way. Right to 930. So, because algorithmically, I know that this was easy to sell right there. You're not buying that. That's for sure. And Nvidia, stupid wick, not helpful at all if we want to be bearish. Helpful if you're bullish, but just doesn't help the overall direction. So, fucking dicks, right? So right back to neutral with this, I swear. And then what's it called? Notice again we're around that 50% there, using that last gap right there, old gap, and that 50% of the opening range gap of yesterday. Look, beautiful, fucking beautiful. Pushed right back up. So we had the option of coming down to that breakout area and wiping out these easy buyers. Now they pushed up here. The problem with this is it is back to dead fucking center. The seasonality shows that that we are supposed to be more back and forth if we didn't just push straight up. So I'm having a hard time moving forward from here. But what I will say is I found my piece of the pie, which was this buy from here to here. Okay, and then this sell from here to here. Just this little, it's not little, it's a great move, right? But that was, for me, those moves that I talked about, those were guaranteed. This was a nice buy. You had to take the profit here. And then this was a nice sell, but I, wouldn't want to sell if I was looking at this as to push through higher. But we kind of already came when today at Asia, when we made a new high, taking previous, we kind of got higher and squeezed up into that breakout area I was talking about right here. So if you look to the right, look at the 50%. Well, I have this range, but look at the 50% of here. If I was to drag this all out, you see that right there? Did you see how we just tagged that for today? So that is also a very big deal because you do have possibilities of it rejecting and coming lower, but understanding that it has already came up, and did a good job here. And because of that, now it needs to come back down for those easy buyers. But I was going to say something else. Fucking right back to a mess in the middle, man. Now, what I do like about being bullish here is that this wick closed the way it closed, right? Plus, I want to see a body stay above the open and or the close of last week because obviously there's no body. It needs to have a body on the week. So what they'll probably do is we'll be late to the party. What they'll do is they'll probably push us up for this week, stay a bullish candle, and then the next week, what would next week be missing from this week? A bearish candle on the weekly, just like I was talking about. If you've been watching the video this whole week, Monday and Tuesday that I talked about, when we put a bearish candle on Tuesday, right? So I'm thinking that's probably the case here with NFP and or in general speaking, really, but I can't even call it at this point because it can, I guess I'll draw it, but I don't have any expectations as far as any direction. I mean, if you're bearish, you gotta sell off here. You gotta do that. Period. Just like this. And if that doesn't happen from here in this manner, then we're bullish. And for some reason, with this reversal here like this, if we don't come back in here, that's a reversal right there. Balanced price range. I mean, like I said, bro, I would expect this shit. Period. That's it. There's nothing else. Nothing else I can really say. Plus, the average daily range was 575, I think. So if you take a look at this high right here, and we've already exhausted most of the weekly range. I told you, remember in these past videos, I said from this high of Monday and this high of Tuesday, we were sitting around 750 points, I believe. And then I said, did you see the other 250 points coming up here or coming down here? It went up here. So now this is almost 1,000-point range. The week is already fizzled. So now Friday can stay inside this range. If we do break out though, I would like to probably see this bullish push up to here. And then we can relive next week as another conversation. And then that shit might gap down or up. We'll see. But with all the shit going on I mean, come on, bro. It's just shouldn't be here. But I would say definitely S&P and Dow look more bearish. 100%. Like, no question. To me. So, look, now you got closures here. See how this candle closed? Like underneath all this price action right here that I'm just magically up, down, up, down. Now we're underneath. That's going to be interesting, man. I wouldn't have any expectations. See, this is bearish to me. I don't see this as a pullback to then go straight the fuck back up. I don't know. I just don't see that. I see Dow, coming for this. So and S&P here. That's what I would do if I was them, but again, back to neutral. So I just feel like I just feel like Nas is a little bit more bullish, but look at the price action. Look how we're closing underneath all this. I would like to be bearish. Just I'm gonna make sure I say that. Even though I might be bearish, I can't really be involved anymore at this point. But I'm not saying it can't come back down, but because of the weekly situation of the candle, I just feel like we're gonna close above this level here. You know, and it doesn't have to close above it. We would prefer it, to be honest with you, so we can get that shit over with. Then we could roll over. I wouldn't want to be trading. I wouldn't want to be selling while having a big gap here like that with no body. This is what I'm trying to say. I think I've said enough. Let me see here. This candle's strength of today closing like this, it is showing more support to the bullish side. So I'll just say that. But I don't know what else to say. Um, Notice how this candle, today's candle took out the previous day's high and left. Well, we came inside the previous day's body, but we're not taking out that low. So tomorrow, do you see us taking the high of today's candle or the low of today's candle? All right, which one do you see? This high or this low? Or staying inside day? Hey, that's what the story is. 51 minutes. Did I miss anything? I mean, with the seasonality, if you had to like put a gun to your head and make a decision, well, if I had to guess my decision, remember I'm guessing, I would just say it would make another high. That's what I'd have to do. That's what I'd have to say, unless it's like crazy Asia shit, and I'm not involved, and something drops on another city, and hey, I don't know. But right now, I'm going with the bull here. We'll see. And fell short of that too, right there. Oh yeah, average daily range. What's the high here? 25,250. What's the low here? 750. Let's just say 750. That's 500 points right there. So when the price was fucking around, did you see a total of 500 points being the low here and up here? Well, it would have to have went. If this was the low of the day and we never made a new low here, this is sitting at 25,000. Well, I would expect it. Then the price would have to be a classic buy day and we'd end up closing here. All right, if that was a 500 point range, notice how we never made a new high here. So with that understanding, and if it's not going to make the other fucking points up here, it's going to make it down here. And where is it down here? As you see it. Over here. With this X marks the spot high confluence shit right here. -1 standard deviation on the Asia range and all that. You see that? So if you're like at this, that's why I was like talking the way I was talking here. I was like, if you don't know if you know it's not going up anymore, how can you participate? This is I'm not involved here. But you can see these cells down here. Like even when this broke and popped back up for a retracement, that was a beautiful sell down. In this case, you want to stretch the candles out, and you could get your best trade, best entries, by scalping and by taking these push-ups and these little pop back ups, right? Instead of, doing it like that, it's not going to work out, bro. But yeah, that little piece of the pie, man, you know what I mean? Of a guaranteed move. So, it's selling here, right? Whoops. So right to your algorithmic targets and understandings and levels, right? You guys take care. God bless.